Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 14th. It is 6:24 right now. We got market opening up in about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. Sent out right there. 100% out there and we are good to go here. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Just going to mark up the nearby liquidity. It's kind of pointless to go super far out. Four-hour. Up to the 1 hour. $30-minute. 15-minute. $10-minute. And then back down to the 1 minute here. All right, looks good. So good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 14th. We have liquidity here marked up. Closest level of liquidity above looks like it's at 42,300. Closest level below is right here, right where price is at. It's probably gonna get hit right now. Next level below that's gonna be at 42,256. Looking at the current movement right now, it looks like we do have a range. Let's see. Probably this right here for now. It's a small range. ATR is currently 7, so it's extremely slow right now with regard to market volatility. Let's mark at this point here too. So we do have a little bit of a range. Price is currently at the upper point of the range. This range might be a little lower than that. I'll leave it as is. All right, so that's kind of where the range is at right now, guys. We got market opening up in about a minute. Breakout for today is going to be a buy if anybody's looking to take that. And let's see who's here so far. Um, Morning, Lila. Morning, Steven. Morning, Ben. Morning, guys. Yeah, it coasted such a range. Yeah. I mean, it's been ranging for the past couple of weeks. This is kind of like where market's been at. This is why I mark up the range so we don't get caught up in it during the session. So market's about to open up in about 20 seconds. Hey, Sam, morning. Um, Again, just be careful for this range here because this is what we've been getting caught in a lot lately. Whenever price pushes out of the range, we get caught in the fake outs, price pulls back into the range. So it's a little tricky when when certain entries come up because we always tend to get caught in this chop here. And there we go. Market is now open. Yeah, we can see here price is still respecting the range, even though it's kind of stuck within this area. Price is kind of stuck right here where this area is at the moment. Here goes opening price. Let's see if it breaks through and that breakout hits TP. It's got a long way to go though. The volatility is really low today, guys. This is very, very low. We're at 10 ATR, which is I mean that's like extremely low. All right, so here we go with the breakout to the upside. I'll mark the breakout right here. Still running right now, full TP. So the breakouts hit pretty much every day this week, Monday through Wednesday. Breakout has hit every single day this week. So another one there. Steven said, just as I knew. Oh, I know when you stop taking the breakout, Steven, it hits almost every single time. I don't know what it is, bro. Like, yeah, literally as soon as Steven stops taking the breakout, it hits every single day. This week it's on a pretty hot win streak. Monday through Wednesday, all full TPs. All right, so breakout again right there, full TP. Let's go back to our regular charts. Let's see if there's anything here to work with. I mean, there's somewhat of an upper range right here too, so I'll just draw another range. Right there, price is coming right back down. Let's take a look at the market profile. So looking at the market profile over here, I mean, price pretty much came up and then it bounced off the point of control from yesterday. See what the overall trend is right now. Overall trend here is bullish for the most part. Yeah, it's bullish on the 4 hour, bullish on the 1 hour, 30-minute, somewhat bullish, 10-minute bullish, 5-minute bullish, 1-minute bullish. Everything here is bullish. So, what we might be able to see here is possibly a push back to the downside and a bounce back up. Be a possibility. So looking over here on the 30-minute time frame. I mean, you guys can see here on the 30-minute time frame, the range has been pretty much, if you look over here, this range has been active for a really long time. So it's been active since Monday, this middle range right here, right down the middle off this 30-minute time frame. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just continue to see where this ends up going. The overall trend right now is bullish. So like what might maybe see here is possibly retracement down and a push back up. 50 points. It's just really slow right now. Today's the slowest volatility of the week. Like, I haven't really seen it this slow all week. The ATR is currently below 20. So this is what we talked about yesterday. Yesterday I was mentioning, if the ATR goes below 20, you should really look out because like it's extremely low. I just changed the ATR range to 7 points just for now because of these big candles. But it is definitely, this is kind of how a summer market moves. Yeah, exactly. Daniel said already feels like it's summer market. Yeah, Daniel's been trading with us, I think, a couple years now. So you've experienced the summer markets. Like this isn't something new to you. Um, it's just a slow market. The problem with the slower markets is that you have to go for, I mean, obviously the ATR will adjust your TP target. So this is at 7 point or 7 range. So the 7 candle range, it's still below 30, so 30 might even still be a little high. But we'll see. Andrew said it bounced off yesterday's opening price too. That's a weird thing. That happened yesterday, or not yesterday, but last week as well. This price was stuck within that range. Tarek said, I personally think we'll pick up a few weeks and we'll have a bullish summer. Yeah, I think so too. I think this slow period right here is it's because there was so much overextension over the past couple of days, right? If you look over here on the 1 hour, there's just a lot of extension, mainly on open here on Sunday. So when the China tariff news came out, it pushed price up, and I think it just was overextended. So now price is kind of just baked in already. So it's starting to consolidate sideways. The good thing is that we're above like 40,000. So, 40,000 is a good threshold to look at number-wise for YM because 40,000 is kind of where price dumped when the tariff news initially came out. So if you go back a little further, you'll see here the tariff news came out. The big scare happened early in April. And then price kind of ranged for a bit. And then it pushed right back up to where it was before. So if you look over here, this is the 1 hour chart. I mean, basically price was already in this middle area before the tariff news came out. You can see over here at March 31st, price was up here, and that's where price is currently. The tariff news came out, it dumped, recovered all the way back up, and we're pretty much baked into where we should have been if that tariff news never came out. So, that tariff stuff was a lot of price manipulation and then a bunch of recovery. The thing is, a lot of people doubt Trump and, the US government. Like I talk about this with a lot of people. I feel like what happens in the news and stuff, that stuff is all like noise. It's really just noise for stuff that's happening elsewhere, right? Because if you look at what's happening right now, there's a lot of other things happening around the world with Trump making these other deals, right? With Saudi Arabia, I mean, there's just so many different things happening around the world. The tariff stuff, yeah, it's a big impact, but there's a lot of other stuff that's happening as well that nobody's paying attention to. So we'll see. I mean, this is kind of the market we're in, but I feel like every 60 to 90 days, something crazy happens that causes the market to just kind of shift around a bit. And you can see it from the higher time frames. If you guys just look, like if you just look back a little bit and see how everything's moving. If you look here on the higher time frames, everything is really moving pretty smoothly. It's just there's like these crazy events that just come and just spike price around, and then it corrects back to where it should be. So I mean, if anything, we'll look for a bullish push into the summer, and then possibly something to kind of shake price up in the fall, and then obviously in the winter another bull. Look into, I mean, you guys, it's not something that you need to focus on. It's just you got to understand that there's some times in the market where you should just sit out, right? Yeah, Tarek said it feels like people are still sidelined until Trump gives more good news about the tariffs. Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. I think over the next couple of weeks, it seems like every couple of weeks, Trump has something good to say about the tariffs, right? He caused a scare with the initial tariffs. And then now, basically every other week, something happens. There's a new deal that becomes established. And then right now, price is kind of just going back and forth. So just be patient, guys. There's no need to like force anything, right? And I talked about this with a few other people here as well. Like these are the type of markets that really make or break you as a trader. Because I'm sure like a lot of you guys, so for some of you guys here who have come and gone, like you guys have traded with me for a while, then you took a break and you came back. I'm sure like what happens a lot of times is you trade with us and then you take a break or you just stop trading for a couple months. And then during that time that you take off, we go on a crazy win streak. And then you decide to come back like months later and the market's back to being flat. You got to understand that the market is always evolving and adapting, right? You have to adapt with the market because there's going to be times like this where the market's kind of slow and it's going sideways. Like for example, right here, see how I marked up this range earlier? Price is just going back and forth between this range. It initially was down here and then it's up here. This is going to mess with your trade psychology to force trades when you really shouldn't be taking any trades. So you got to understand when to sideline yourself. right? You really got to sideline and understand when to just sit back and watch the market move, and then understand when is it time to actually go in. Yeah, Shivam, a good point, Sean. I've done that 2 times personally. First time sticking to the long plan or long game. Yeah, exactly. That's really what it is, guys. Like that's why I show you guys that for me, I'm just sticking to the MPSV2. I can easily shift to a different strategy, but I want to show you guys like sticking to one strategy for a whole year long. Just adapting to the ATR with your TP stop loss, and then also being able to not take trades when the market's not giving you what you're looking for. You could, survive and thrive within this type of market. I mean, this is obviously not the type of market for MPSV2s. We had a buy signal right here, price pushed up. There was no entry. So we had buy signal, retracement, price pushed up, never closed above the momentum. So there's no entry here for MPSV2. Right here, we had a sell signal, same thing, price pushed up, the opposite direction, no confirmation, no MPSV2. Right here, we have a sell signal. If we get a possible retracement, continuation to the downside, then there'll be an MPSV2 right there. The only problem with getting an MPSV2 for a sell right here is that we have a bunch of red flags. We have the sessions right here, and we have the opening price right here. So the odds of us getting a clean MPSV2 here are very unlikely. I'll be changing the ATR back to where it should be. Right now it's currently at 29. I'm sure it's a lot lower if I put it at the average range, 14. Yeah, Sam said no big news, bad ATR. Glenn said price back to New York open from yesterday. Yeah, it's crazy. The range here, I mean, this just shows you that price isn't going anywhere, right? So for the longer move for today, this is kind of what I would see happen. I would see price maybe come down to the value low, and then possibly a correction back up. That's just kind of where I see things if it does end up pulling back here a little bit. But it's going to be a little tricky because so I think it's gonna be a little tricky because the point of control is down here. So like the thing is, usually if you see a balance, you see price kind of come back to the point of control, but point of control is like literally right there. So yeah, let me see. I'm gonna see if there's any let's see where that point of control is at. 42 to 25. Okay. So what I can see here is a possible sweep down here, like around this whole area right here. If price comes down any lower, I'm looking for a possible liquidity sweep down here, and then a possible push back up from there. I'm just lining up these areas of liquidity with the 30-minute point of control, because like I said right here, that's exactly what I'm looking for, right? Come down, push back up. And then I got liquidity sitting around this area. So 225 is going to be somewhere down the middle right here. So if price does come down here, this is what I'm possibly going to see. Drop down to this area, liquidity grab, and then push back up. I'm gonna use that as a confluence for me if I'm looking to take any buys or sells here. So like if the sells do come down, uh, there may be possibility of it to reach down to this area. But again, we have all these red flags right here. So there's no entries for me to take. We had an MPSV2 setup right here, but it was right at the red flags, right? Like I said, sell signal, retracement, confirmation, but it was right at the opening price. You can see where price bounced off of. Not a good area to take a trade, right? So I try to avoid trades right here at the red flags. Again, you just got to be patient, guys. There's no need to force any trades here. I'm putting the ATR back to where it should be. It's currently at 21 ATR. So the ATR is very low. Very low ATR. This is what we consider summer ATR, because we're in the middle of the morning session and the ATR should be a lot higher on this time period. One thing that we started to notice before is that sometimes, the ATR will kind of adjust like middle session. So here's the thing. I would have to like kind of go back and look, but if the volatility is slower in the morning, it might pick up a little later in the day. I'm just gonna check what the ATR was looking like yesterday around 9 o'clock. Or let's see, we'll see what it was looking like right here at 7:30 yesterday. So it's at 25 yesterday, and I'm just gonna kind of see where. No, it doesn't pick up here. Yesterday it was actually really low. If you look over here around like 10 o'clock, it was at 15. So it's not getting any better. It looks like the markets here are, these are like summer conditions. So there's no need to trade later in the session. What I was thinking is if the volatility picks up later in the session, maybe it's better to trade later in the session, but it's not. You can see over here, the ATR was actually at 12 yesterday down this middle area. So the ATR is actually worse during that time period. Let's go back to our charts. All right, we got a big dump right here. So price is starting to dump. Like I said earlier, look for the possible liquidity sweep around this area down here. So it's doing kind of what we anticipated. Price is coming down a bit. I mean, if you want to look at the 1 hour liquidity sweep even closer, it's at the 240 mark. Steven said the breakout feels like a pop quiz. It's a pop quiz that you'll never pass, Steven, because it doesn't like you. It seems like the breakout, whenever you don't take the breakout, it hits. When you take it, it doesn't hit. It's crazy. I'm telling you, Steven, I think you should really just take the opposite trades, bro. If you think the breakout's gonna be, I don't like you should probably not even look at what my analysis is for the breakout. Just think about whatever you think it is. If you think it's a buy, then you should probably take a sell. If you think it's a sell, take a buy. Like I would say even play around with the demo account and just kind of see where it takes you. If it because you might be able to identify somehow um some sort of strategy that works in your favor. You just have like a reverse engineering mechanism where you can like kind of see things, but you see things in the opposite direction. All right, guys. So looking at price right here, it's actually rejecting off the bottom range. So price here is pretty much respecting the range that I drew. This is the initial range that I drew this morning. We had the upper range and the lower range, and then the farther upper range up here. We also have the same situation down here as well. If you wanted to, but we don't really need this right now. If price breaks below, then possibly, but not at the moment. But again, like I said earlier, if you're looking for a liquidity sweep, I would probably look for a liquidity sweep somewhere around this area, either one of these levels. So, I mean, the value low is right here at the 225. So I'd look for a possible sweep of this area, push back up. Is there any news today? So we don't really have news today. We have gas stock change at 7:30. We have Fed Jefferson speaking at 6:10. We had the 30-year mortgage rate at 4 o'clock. This is all kind of like low to medium impact stuff. It's not really super important. So it's not stuff that I really need to mark up. Looking over here at CNBC, any breaking news? There's not really any breaking news today. So it's crazy that this big dump is starting to happen right now. It says S&P 500 rises as Wall Street builds on a strong rebound from April low. AMD soars after board of directors approve a buyback. There's not really any news here that's really causing or identifying, why the drop is happening. I just don't see anything here, but price is dropping. So here goes that liquidity sweep area that I was just talking about. Looks like it might sweep here depending on how this candle here closes. Yeah, so for this right here, correction back to the open. I'm not in this position right here. I'm just like identifying this as a sweep. Um, See, the thing with the sweeps here is that like you kind of want to have enough of a cushion there in case it pulls even further. You guys can see the sweep there is starting to confirm. So this is kind of where I'm expecting price to push back up to, back to open as it sweeps this lower area. I'm not in this position, guys. I'm just marking it up. This is all speculation. I'm just marking this up because I'm expecting if price does push up from here, if I get an MPS V2 for a buy from this point, then I would ride it back to the upside. So, like I said before, I'm only sticking to the strategies that I've been following. I'm not necessarily taking anything else. I'm just sticking to my MPS V2. So, I would like price to push down maybe even a little bit further and then continue right back up. So, there's an MPS V2 that ran from right here. I don't know if anybody caught that. Let me see if I could measure it to see if it. Yeah, so this MPS V2 actually hit, guys. If anybody caught this sell right here, it was just tricky because it was at the opening price. Like we talked about, it's just tricky because it was at opening price. This was considered a red flag. So we had a sell signal, retracement, confirmation. This is the first MPS V2 that came up for today. Full TP right there for 30 points. If anybody caught that one. So the sweep still hasn't happened. It hasn't confirmed yet. See how far it goes down from here. I mean, this thing is dumping pretty hard. I mean, it looks like it's dumping pretty hard because of the movement, but the actual movement is like not super, super heavy. Let's see. So any news that happened right now? There's not really anything that happened. Just Ukraine finance minister Marchenko. Ukraine made good progress to strengthen relationship with the US. Yeah, there's just not anything to look at right there. But anyways, here goes the sweep here as price pushes back up. So like I said earlier, um, the sweep would have happened at this lower level of liquidity right here, or I mean wherever it would have been. So there goes that liquidity sweep that I talked about. Got close to like this lower area here, and then now it's pushing back up higher. So I'm still looking for that MPS V2, possibly for a buyback to the upside. And clean this up. It's a little messy. Low right here. So the reason why I knew this was a liquidity sweep was because of the market profile that I had right here. So it did exactly what I mentioned, right? So this is what I told you guys was going to happen. Actually, on the 30-minute, I said this was going to happen. Price was going to come down, bounce off the value low, and push back up. That's exactly what happened here. The reason why I was looking for that buy was because the overall trend here was bullish. So 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute was bullish earlier, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute. Everything here was bullish at one point. And that's why I was looking for this here to push up higher. And the liquidity sweep here played out perfect. So pretty much push back up to this upper range. So I mean, if you wanted to go for that 1 to 1 30 30, that would have worked out right there. There's a pending buy signal here. So there may be an MPS V2 starting to set up here for a buy. So no MPS V2 there yet. I'm gonna take this off for now. We're still looking for a possible opportunity for buy signal to come up. See, question from Ben. Ben said on the first MPS V2, what determines a good entry on the second red candle? I mean, this would be a good entry if there was no red flags right here, Ben. So this is the setup. We had a buy signal, retracement, confirmation. This confirmation closed below this momentum. So this is it's a setup for MPS V2. It's not a good entry because it was right at the session. So we had the purple line right here, which is the Asia high. That's an area of manipulation. And then we had the opening price right here. So if we didn't have this purple line and we didn't have this blue line right here, and it was out in the open, like say, for example, this setup was like down here, right? Then it would be considered a good setup. But because we had these red flags right here, that's why I wouldn't have taken it. So, I'm still sticking to my game plan, my trading plan. I'm not trading risky trades. But this here is still a setup. So a setup nonetheless for MPS V2, it's just when you incorporate the red flags, that's what makes it risky. So that's what would have been considered a bad trade. Well, not really a bad trade, but it'd be considered a risky trade in my opinion. Otherwise, this trade here is a good setup because it pretty much played out perfect. You typically want to see these happen right away. So you see how this here kind of like pushed down, retraced, and came back. Like you're looking for this pattern to happen very quickly. Something like that. And that's exactly what happened here. Versus something where it comes down and it comes up a little bit like this, and then it ends up coming down later. I wouldn't really want to take something like that because that takes forever for it to come through. You're just looking for that quick pattern. Quick down, up, down, basically. Or in the opposite direction, you're looking for that quick up, down, up. So, yeah, I mean, if the red flags weren't here, I'd consider it good, but just because of red flags, that's why I decided not to take it. Let's see, Brock said, sweep up, sweep down, pretend to return. Call them in a buy meeting and nuke them all with liquidity sell. Yeah, no, it looks like it's a fake out on both ends right there. So this is what I keep reminding you guys about this range, right? The thing is price respects the range here, even though we were expecting price to push back up. It failed to get past this range here. I mean, the sweep was perfect. Sweep came up, but then as it came up right here, it failed to get past the range, and now it's just ranging within this lower area. Let's see, Ben said second candle was too close near the first red candle. So it was like, here, I'll draw a line to illustrate it a little more. So right here, this black line is where it would happen below it, right? So I think this here would be perfect because it didn't close like right on the line or like above it or right below it. It closed like pretty clean below it right there. I think at the last second, this thing ended up closing, like it pushed down. Because I remember when it was first up here, it was kind of sitting around the sessions right here, right? It wasn't really moving very much because the volatility was so low. But I mean, looking at it later on in this, like after it's closed, it looks good, but I can't really tell exactly how it was at the time of the candle close. And that's kind of what's been happening lately, right? So like typically when I'm looking for an entry here, I usually tell you guys I'm only going to take it if it's for sure going to close below it. So I don't think this was for sure because I wasn't even looking at it when it was coming down. It probably was just like sitting here flat and then it ended up coming down at the last like 5 seconds or so. And that's usually what's been happening lately because the market's been super choppy and just kind of slow in general. So yeah, if you use this right here, so if this was the entry candle, then I would consider this one not so good, right? Because this one you can kind of tell that it was definitely not down there. But for this one over here, the actual entry candle, which actually would have happened. So this would have been the entry candle. This one actually looks pretty decent. I just wasn't sure how it closed at the time of, candle close. All right, anyways, there's no buy signal here yet, guys. You've been looking for a buy signal here to come up. Yeah, no problem, Ben. You learn more with like seeing examples like that. And it's good that you mention stuff like that because, this is how you like incorporate your knowledge with like what I marked up here. So I'll typically mark up like MPS V2s, and it's always good to question the trade because you want to know for sure that you're looking at something that's actually there and you're not kind of just seeing things on your own. Because I see a lot of people sometimes they'll take an MPS V2 and it's not an MPS V2. So yeah, it's always good to ask questions. If you guys have any other questions regarding any other entries, feel free to ask me. There's really no dumb questions here. with trading, especially if you're still learning this stuff, it's all repetition. The more examples you see, the more setups you see, and the more you see them live, the better you are at identifying the entries. All right, so we finally have a buy signal here that's currently pending. This could possibly set up for an MPSV2. The only problem here again is that we have all of these red flags right here, right? So I don't think there's going to be an opportunity here for entry for a buy. That liquidity sweep that I mentioned earlier, guys, it's still running. So the liquidity sweep from earlier right here, still running up to that area. Looks like it's about to hit TP right now. Possibly a break and retest right here of this area or not. And this ranging market has not been beneficial for us. I'm just trying another zone down here. So basically, this is the middle range. If I take off this upper range, you can kind of see the noise that happens outside of it. Right. So if I take off this lower end and upper range, you can see the real meat of the market is right here. This is where price gets pulled back to majority of the time. Price will pull out, fake out, come back down, pull out, fake out right here, come back down, fake out down here, pull back up. And it just continues to go sideways from here, right? Not really too much there to necessarily work with. All right, we have a possible MPS V2 setting up right here. So again, we could look at this as another example, Ben. So like this right here, like I said, see how it's not like completely above it? This is kind of probably how this one here closed. It's got to close above this black line right here. So this one right here is a good example of what we would consider a bad entry. So right here, I said, this wasn't really a bad entry because it closed below it, like it was actually below it. This here is a bad entry. Reason for it being a bad entry is because it was going back and forth between the entry point and the price gap right here. So this technically would be an entry for MPSV2, but there's a gap right here. You guys can see because typically what happens is when this candle closes, it should close like this candle should open right next to it. But this one over here, it gapped above. There was just a little price gap. Like there's a split second between each candle right here, between the minute candle, where this candle closed right here and it was supposed to open right here, but it pushed up and it ended up opening right here. So this is an example of a bad MPSV2 basically setup. Because we needed to close above. It did close above, but it didn't close above like how it should have been, because it should have closed on this candle. But it ended up opening past there here. Either way, I wouldn't take it because there's all of these red flags over here. We got opening price and we have the sessions right there. Let's see, Kyle's asking, can you explain what price gapping does again? Price gapping is like like for example, right here, Kyle. So see how this candle here closed? This is the open of this green candle, right? And this is the close of the green candle. See how this next candle opens up here? It's supposed to open right next to it. When it opens way up here, and there's a gap in between, that's considered a price gap. There's the volatility is so choppy that at the last second, because these candles close every 1 minute, right? So every 1 minute it should be even. Like for example, the candle closed right here, it opened right here. This candle closed right here, it opened right here, right? Candle closed right here, opened right here. It should be right next to the candle. But looking at this one over here, The candle closed right here. It should have opened right here, but it ended up opening up here. Does that make sense? There's a gap. So there's basically price movement that's unaccounted for because they should be opening right next to each other. Like for example, right here, see if this is going up, right, upwards. Like say for example, you have this candle right here that opens upwards. If the candle comes back down or if it goes up, it should open right here, right next to it. Like if it goes back down, it closes here and it should open right next to it. But like for example, right here, there's a price gap because price is so choppy. Price just keeps doing this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There's like a split second where the price gaps, and instead of closing where it should be right here, it closes like way up here. See how this closes here? It should be closing right next to it, but it ends up closing up here, just like what happened at this point. So it's just price action. So what it does is it tells you that price here is choppy, and it's like and it's unpredictable. Because the thing is, you're looking for price to close around a certain area, right? Like for example, again, if you're still looking for this MPSV2 to close here, you were looking for price to close exactly above a certain price point. And then here we have like no volatility. The volatility is now super flat. It kind of gives you a hint. When you see price gap like that, it means two things. It's either the price is barely moving or price is too volatile. Right here, you can see price, like it kind of gave you a hint that price is barely going to move. Going back to that sweep that I talked about earlier, guys, it just hit full TP. So, I mean, unfortunately, we didn't have an MPSV2 that's set up in that direction down here, but the sweep that I mentioned earlier today went straight back to that area up there. Yeah, no problem, Kyle. I know the concept of price gapping is kind of confusing unless you see it real time. Again, right here, for example, uh, the gap is more prevalent when it's an opposite candle. So right here, it's okay. It makes sense because price was coming down. And then you can see that there was a little price gap right there because this should have opened right, or this closed right here and it should have opened up here and pushed down. But because they're both red candles, that's fine because the thing is the volatility is just picking back up. However, when you have a candle where it's opposite red and green, like you have this green candle close up here, and then say, for example, you have a red candle close or it opens like down here, you can kind of see that price gap that I was mentioning. But anyways, here we go. As price pushes up. The MPSV2 looks like if you guys did decide to take, this later one right here, looks like it's still running, I think. Or would it hit stop right there at that point? Either way, there was no entry here for MPSV2 because technically this should have been the entry at this point, but because of the price gap, it just wasn't a setup. So, man, I'm hoping the market, we were hoping this whole week that the market would kind of smoothen out. I'm hoping tomorrow at least I think tomorrow's PPI. Let me check the news. Yeah, so tomorrow we have PPI data. We have retail sales, 4-week job claims average, PPI month over month, retail sales, uh, core PPI month over month, year over month. So tomorrow we have some inflation news. I'm hoping this is going to shake up the market enough to kind of like get it out of this funk that it's currently in. Back to what we were saying earlier this morning, I think the market's probably going to stay pretty stale for a while until more tariff news comes out. If you look over here, price is respecting the range that I drew. So I drew this range here earlier this morning, and price is still respecting this middle range. Everything that happens outside is just noise. So this upper area right here, this is all noise basically. Looking down here, also noise. Yeah, it's a tough market right now. I mean, the best thing you guys can do right now in this tech market is really just watch from the sidelines. And that's what I'm doing right now. Not getting caught in any bad trades, not getting caught in any FOMO, not getting caught in any of, I don't know, just anything that could really mess with your trade psychology. unless it meets your criteria, of course, right? If it meets your criteria, then so be it. Take whatever entry you'd like, but for the most part, it is it's a good time to kind of just sit back. So what I'm personally looking for here is I'm looking for price to either push above this area and then provide me an MPSV2 for a buy up here, or if price decides to push down, looking for it to push below and provide me some opportunities for entry down here. The only problem is that we're so far in the middle now that sells are just not looking like they're going to be, they just look impossible, right? Because price would have to come all the way back down here, break below the sessions, and then look for trades around this lower area. Same with the upper side over here. If I'm looking for price to push up, I mean, the upper side probably makes more sense, but you guys can see right here that price is respecting this middle range. Yeah, this middle range right here. So it's gonna sit back, wait for opportunities here. There's just nothing for me to take here at the moment. All right, we're at the bottom end of the range. We'll see here if price ends up holding. Otherwise, if it drops below, we'll see if there's any opportunities here for a sell. Again, the same thing that we talked about earlier, it's going to be tricky because we have sessions down here. So I was looking for a possible MPSV2 for a sell. I was hoping we get the sell signal up here where the buy signal was. So I can get the setup somewhere down here. And I could take this down for a sell to the sessions. The problem with this here is that price is so far down now. See, if we get the sell signal right here, price pushes down, retraces, comes back down lower, then we're going to have another problem here because we have all the sessions down here. So I won't be able to really take any sells at this point. As much as I'd like to, there's not going to be opportunities here for me to take. So we have a sell signal right here. Price is retracing on the screen candle. It's rejecting directly off the sessions and off my lower range right here. Back to the point of control or the market profile. So looking at the market profile right here, you guys can see the range for this market profile, right? The range is going to be somewhere between this area here. It pretty much just bounces between the value highs and the value lows around these points. See this here. So here's like one thing that you guys could maybe use to your advantage, guys. So like I'm marking up these liquidity zones. You can see that a lot of liquidity sweeps happen at these zones here. Yeah, so price pushed up right here. Liquidity was from right here. It was basically a liquidity sweep at this point at 42,302. Yeah, I was like right here at the value high. So if you guys look closely, this is kind of what's happening. Price will push up to like these market profile points and it pulls back down to the next, basically it's bouncing between the value high and the value low. So again, right here, price is pushing back up. We have another area of liquidity right here. These are basically just liquidity grabs. There's no entry here for a sell for MPSV2. So if I take off this middle range right here, you guys can see the range here has kind of been established for this morning. So this right here is a pre-market range. And this bigger range right here is the actual session range. There was no MPS V2 here for a sell. There was another MPS V2 here, or maybe we marked it up earlier, the MPS V2 for a buy. There's another possible buy setup right here. We're just in between each of the we're in between all the sessions right here. So like either way, it's gonna be hard to take any entries around this point because we have the Asia high right here, and then we have the London low down here. Let's see, Talanji's asking, can you show your liquidity settings? I'm trying to figure out why you just have a green bar while mine highlights the whole area. Um, wait, which green bar are you talking about, Talanji? Because I don't have it on. I don't have the liquidity indicator on. This is liquidity indicator right here. If you're talking about these zones right here, these are just ranges that I drew up myself. Oh, that's different. So this is a market profile. Yeah, this is completely different. This shows you the market profile. So it shows you the value high, value low, point of control, which is in the middle. This isn't the liquidity. Like these aren't gaps that you're talking about. This is where all the volume's sitting. So this green bar right here this is where the majority of the volume is trading. So like this green area right here and this black line, the this black line is the volume profile, and this here is the market profile. So what it does is it pulls the data from like all the trades that are being executed. This middle area right here is what's considered this is like actual fair value. So you know how like you're looking at fair value gaps? Those aren't really fair value. That's just gaps. Like it's something that someone created. Uh, people call those fair value gaps, but those aren't really fair value gaps. These are the actual, this is considered, it's not considered a fair value gap, but it's considered fair value. Like when price is up here, this is considered overpriced. When price is down here, this is considered a discount. But because this is where people tend to buy from. So a lot of buys happen around this area, a lot of sells happen around this area. And this is where majority of the volume sits. So like when price gets to this area, this is where most of the volume is traded. Yeah, it's called market profile or TPO. Yeah, it's called TPO or market profile. It's called TPO. It's time price opportunity. You need to have like the highest trading view subscription to have access to this because what it does is it pulls the data from like it pulls data from like all of the actual trades that are being executed. Yeah, it's different. That's why like when people mention fair value gaps, like I don't really follow them as because the thing is like if you look over here like for my liquidity indicator, like this identifies fair value gaps like what you mentioned, but there's so many fair value gaps everywhere, right? So it just doesn't make sense. Like how is this fair value if there's so many fair value everywhere? There's no such thing as like this much fair value. If you want to look at actual fair value, not a fair value gap, but a fair value, you pull up the market profile because this pulls up the volume. It's the same thing with like volume profile. So market profile is different because it identifies market structure. But if you're using a volume profile, like for example, right here, this will show you where it only shows you what the fair value is for the candles on your chart. So that's why this is different because when you're using volume profile, it'll only show you what's on your chart here. If you use market profile, it'll show you everything for what you set it to. I have it set to the 30-minute candle close. So for this here, this is fair value for a 30-minute time frame, but I'm on the 1 minute so I can see it and on a closer basis. But this is like realistically, this is actually what it looks like. So if you look here on the 30-minute, see how price kind of this green bar here is going to act like as a magnet. This black line and this green bar acts as a magnet. Price will push away from it, then it'll pull back to this middle area because this is what's actually fair value. So yeah, if you want to look into it, Talanji, it's called market profile or time price opportunity. There's a bunch of videos on it. Not a lot of people know how to use this stuff because it's more on the advanced side, kind of. It's not necessarily meant to be used as a strategy, but it's meant to be used as confluence. All right, guys, so looking at price right here, we still don't have any entries here. Price is kind of just sitting back and forth within this range. So again, like I said, if I take off this middle range right here, this is like the range for today. Price is ranging back and forth between these areas. This middle range right here is the pre-market range. So the pre-market range from right here, this is kind of where price was sitting prior. Sam said, "Oh my God, I left for 30 minutes, back now, and we're still at opening price." I know nothing's really happened, Sam. Since you've been gone, price has been ranging back and forth. We're kind of stuck around this area where we're basically stuck between the sessions. Price is having trouble getting past the sessions. We're currently above the value high right here, so it's not really much. I mean, you missed the liquidity sweep from earlier this morning. I don't know if you were here for it, Sam, but I was kind of factoring in. I was factoring in the value low right here. So the value low is at 42,225, and we had liquidity that was sitting right here at 42,211. So I mentioned that, this is probably gonna be a liquidity sweep, and that's exactly what happened right there. Took this one straight out of your book, Sam. I'm using these liquidity sweeps as confluences because I was looking for this here, and then I was like, okay, if we get a buy moment MPS V2, I would take it. But the thing is, the MPS V2 never came. So if we had an MPS V2, around this area down here, I would have been looking to take it, and it would have played out perfect too if it did come up, but it didn't. Yeah, did you hear that, CJ? CJ said, "Oh, here comes Ninja Trader 8 with the lost connection BS." Brock said, "I think we're still bullish." Yeah, no, I agree with you too, Brock. I think we're still bullish because the overall trend here is pretty bullish. The 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute, everything here is pretty much bullish. It's just really looking for that setup here. So again, right here, we have a possible MPS V2 setting up. We have a buy signal right here. Price is pushing up. No, unfortunately, I didn't take it, Sam. I've been tempted to take these liquidity sweeps ever since you've been mentioning them. I'm gonna start looking for these liquidity sweeps throughout the live sessions now because they do help as a good confluence with my actual entries. So I'll be looking at these liquidity sweeps. Right now, I don't really see any sweeps from the upside. I was mainly looking for sweeps from the downside because the overall trend here is bullish. Sam said 43,304 blasting soon. Are you looking for this to be a sweep, or are you looking for this to be a break and retest? Sam, I think this will be a possible break and retest. Blasting right through it. It might get stuck at this range right here. Yeah, CJ said I heard yours and mine lost connection right after yours. Yeah, so it's a Ninja Trader issue. It's not an internet issue. Brock said didn't consider that MPS V2 still having grudges with invalid momentum. Yeah, so there's still no MPS V2 here yet. So technically the MPS V2 would happen up here, Brock. But I agree with you. I know these invalid signals are kind of tricky. So we have a possible MPS V2 right here. If this closes red and the next candle closes green, the only problem here that I can kind of think of is that we might get bounce off the range. So this is kind of like this is what I got caught in for the past couple weeks now. It's like I get caught in these trades where I see an MPS V2 up here, and then it ends up coming back down lower. It looks like we're not gonna get opportunity here anyways, because it's gonna be right at the sessions. Hey, what's up, Justin? Morning. All right, so we'll see here. I mean, there's an MPS V2 setting up right here, guys. I just don't think this is a good setup personally. I don't like the price action. Plus, we're at this upper range. If we were trading within the range, I'd be a little more okay with taking the entry, but we're not really trading within the range. We're going to be trading outside the range. The TP has to push outside of this area. If anybody's looking to take this, I'll mark it up for you guys. But I mean, just be careful because we are at the upper range. And what tends to happen here is price gets stuck at the range and it pulls back down into the lower range. Yeah, Brock City's gonna skip it. I'm not gonna take it either. I'll just follow it for you guys if it does close. But like I said, we're at this upper range. I keep getting caught in these types of trades here. I mean, if anything, price might push up to this next level of liquidity. All right, so there goes the entry right there for MPSV2. Not in the position. I'm just kind of following it for right now. Looks like price is kind of just sitting there at the moment. All right. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's kind of tricky where it's currently at because looks like it wants to pull back into the range. I'm not in this position, guys. I'm just following it for you guys. I'm gonna take this off for now. I don't want you guys to think that I'm in it, but we will continue to follow it here. Ideally, I'd still want it to hit, even though I think, there's a lot of trickiness to this specific entry. Of course, you want it to hit because you would like to see it. Um, we would like to see it continue, even though it's not what I consider a good entry. Yeah, exactly. Next to the range has been respected so big the past week or so. Understandable. Yeah. I keep getting caught in these trades. That's why I don't like taking them. Because every time I take a loss, it's because it's stuck within that range and it's been respecting it for some time now. Price is still stuck at that sessions. So it's stuck at the Asia high right now. All right, still nothing going on. And there we go. This price kind of sits at the sessions. Let's see. Shivam said, I remember when I complained regarding going back to 30-30 ATR when it was above 40s, touching. I know, and now it's like the ATR is down to like 20, 21. It's low ATR. It's just way too low right there. See how far this came down from. So, I mean, if you kept it at 30-30, it looks like it's still running. Obviously, I wouldn't want to be in this position though. My current like default TP stop loss is at 30-30. But the ATR is lower, so it's kind of tricky to keep it at 30-30. You might want to keep it at like, just kind of depends because if you have it too tight, you easily get stopped out. But my fixed TP stop loss would be at like 30-30. I last week it was at 40-40. I dropped it down to 30-30. I think I'm gonna keep it at 30-30. I'm not gonna drop it any lower unless like the ATR stays like really, really low. Because I think this is temporary. I think this lower ATR is like just for this week. I think next week is considered, what is this? Is this the third week of May? Yeah, technically the third week of May. So let me check the news for next week. So next week, initial jobless claims. Next week is actually going to be another slow week. With regard to news, there's not really too much. It's like building permits, new home sales, continuing jobless claims. It's like the stuff happening before NFP for next month. The thing with May is that it's a long month. It's a really, really long month. It's 5 weeks or six. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's a 5 week month. So there is there's just a lot more stuff happening this month. Usually we have a 4 week month, so like we have everything kind of scheduled properly. We have like NFP, Fed week, inflation week, and then it's just like the run up to the next NFP. But for this month, we have 5 weeks, so it's kind of spread out a little longer. Okay, so that setup right there, it's still running. If you did the 30-30, like we mentioned earlier, um, again, I wouldn't want to be in this position because you guys can see how long it's been running for. It's been running for, yeah, 7 minutes now. Looks like it's going to hit though. It's an engulfing right here. So it's still running up. So you can see here, again, it's the same thing. So yeah, I'm not dropping my TP stop loss anything lower than 30-30 unless there's like a reason for me to drop it. Like for example, if we had a if we had a sessions up here, like for example, if we had a sessions that was like, I don't know, maybe closer to TP right there, I'd probably tighten it up a little bit. But there was nothing here from the upside. So 30-30 here would be the it looks like it's about to hit. I'm just hoping we break out of this range soon because I'm really tired of like seeing this ranging market. All right, so it hasn't hit yet, but it's almost there. Again, I'm not in this position, guys. I'm just following it for you guys here. Nice, Brock's in it. He's still riding it. Set his trail at 20 points. Solid. Mike said 7 minutes, 7+ minutes trades, 7 minute, like over 7 minute trades, it makes him uncomfortable and he wants instant gratification. Yeah, that's why I always mention that, the ATR is important because if you have your trade set to the ATR or your TP at least set to the ATR, um, you usually have that instant gratification because if you're doing a 20 ATR, those 20 points should hit within the first two candles. Um, I'm the same with you, Mike. That's why I prefer to scalp versus day trade or swing trade or anything else because I don't want to be holding on to a position for like 10 minutes or so. Like for example, this trade is already running. Like at this point, I probably would have pulled out early for a profit. This trade's been running for 11 minutes now. It's a long time to hold on to a position. The main issue here is that the volatility is so low, so it doesn't have enough to get to those 30 points. So I'm gonna take this off again. I don't want you guys to think I'm in the position. The last thing I want is for you guys to think I'm in the position and get into it late. If I felt really comfortable about it, I would have taken it. I'm just going with my gut. I'm going with my gut with these trades. I talked about this with a couple other people too. Like there's like the main question I get with a lot of people is like, how do I know when to take a trade and when not to take a trade? And it's like something that you can't really teach somebody. It's intuition, right? I talked about this with Tarek, like he was mentioning, like you can't really teach people intuition with trading. Like sometimes you just see something and you feel it that it's going to hit or it's not going to hit, and you decide to take it at last second, or you decide just not to take it in general. For this right here, this trade out, of course, I want it to hit because I want the trade, I want the strategy to still play through. But my intuition was telling me that you've been losing at these ranging entries for like the past 2 weeks. So like why would I risk it here when I've been losing at trades that happen exactly in this type of place? So just from my previous, from getting shot in the foot so many times, taking these trades at these upper ranges, I've kind of just instilled in myself, don't take any more trades at these top ranges. Look for price to break out of the range and then take it out here. Or if it's like within the range, perfect. Like if we're taking a sell and it pulls back into this area, then great, I'll take a sell in this area here. But I'm not going to take anything at the upper range or at the lower range down here. Because there's just, I just keep losing at these areas. Every time I lose a trade, it's at the same exact spot. So, you lose enough times in that area, and then you just kind of teach yourself, like, don't take trades in those specific places because you're probably not gonna you're probably gonna regret it later. So that's why for me, I decided not to take a trade here. I mean, the trade could have been good. The trade's still technically running, guys. Like this thing's been running for a really, really long time now. It's still technically running right now. I'm not in the position, but it's still technically running. I had a feeling something like this was going to happen because this is what's happened before. And you can see price here is just ranging above this upper area. So it's ranging between the upper range right here and the opening price. Let's see, Barack closed out of the position at 17 points. Yeah, he's looking for it to grab that liquidity and he pretty much dropped out of it. Didn't break with big momentum. Barack also mentioned this is so messy though. It has a double divergence, buys and sells. I guess they're just about to fake us all out before PO. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. You guys can see here. I mean, it doesn't really matter which direction you trade. If you took a buy here, you could have gotten caught in the range. If you took a sell here, you could have gotten caught in the range. It doesn't really matter. Um, this is the worst possible position you can be in because the last thing you want to do is be holding a position and all it does is goes back and forth like it does right here. Because at that point, it takes a shot to your psychology, right? Your trade psychology gets screwed because you could have been so sure that a buy was going to work out, or you could have been so sure a sell was going to work out, and then you could have gotten stopped out in either direction. I mean, it kind of depends on how big your TP stop loss was. Yeah, I mean that's all I can really say right now because there's not really much here to work with. If you look over here on the market profile, if you look like closely, so just looking at where price is currently at right now, price is in a really, really big range, right? So if you look at the range, this is the actual range right here. It's just going back and forth. I mean, it's not this clean, but that's literally what's happening here, right? Price kind of pushed up, consolidated, faked out, consolidated, pushed up, consolidated, pushed down, consolidated, pushed up, consolidated. So we get these big areas of consolidation, but it's not really going anywhere. If we look here, price is back at open. So market's been open for about like almost 2 hours now, for about an hour and a half. And look where price is currently sitting. It's at the blue line. This is where market opened up an hour and a half ago. Right here at, actually, this is kind of off. Let me fix it. Yeah, it's sitting right here where market opened up about an hour and a half ago. This isn't normal. Market shouldn't be sitting where it opened up an hour and a half ago, right? Market should be, so like market typically opens and then it either pushes away to the downside or it pushes away to the upside, right? Or what happens sometimes is you get the initial push to the upside. Like market open right here at 6:30. Usually what happens is you get a push to the upside, it fakes out, comes right back down, and then it continues to drop from there. That's a normal market. But you can see here, price hasn't really gone anywhere. Pushes up, fakes out, pushes down, fakes out, goes sideways, fake out, return, etc. Yeah, Steven said you might not get any official entries, but it's okay. Hopefully tomorrow we should. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing by ear, guys. I'm only at one loss for this week, so I'm not really like in a deep hole. I just need to have one more win. I'm being very cautious about the trade that I take because once I have that win, I'll be back at break even, and then hopefully I'll make it back even higher after that. It's just playing the game. It's really just playing the game that we're dealt. Like this is just the hand that we're dealt right now, guys. You got to understand that like not every day is going to be your day. Not every week's going to be your week. This isn't my week. Last week wasn't my week. This whole month's been kind of all over the place. The first week of May, I did pretty decent. So if you look over here, let's look at my profits. So first week of May was all right. We did pretty good first week of May. And then last week I had 2 losses. And then this week we have 1 loss on the 12th. I haven't uploaded my trades yet. I do it at the end of the week because it takes so long. But I got 1 loss here on Monday. No trades yesterday. I'm hoping for a trade today. So if I have a trade today for a win, it's going to offset my loss. So I'll have break even. And then hopefully Thursday, Friday, we'll have some good trades there. But there's just nothing to take here, guys. If there's anything that trading teaches you, it really teaches you discipline. If you can stay disciplined during these types of markets and not take dumb trades, you just got to weather the storm. I keep mentioning this like every day. It's like whether it makes sense to you or not, this is trading. Trading is not always going to be super great and it's not always going to be super bad. You're going to have some times like this where it's just flat and it's better to sit back and watch versus, forcing a trade. I know you guys are probably getting FOMO right now. For me, surprisingly, I'm not getting FOMO. Usually I get FOMO during these types of conditions because I just want to squeeze something in. But I've already been screwed so many times this month. If you look at my stats for this month, this hasn't been a good month for me. It's been an okay month. So like I'm net positive for this month, but it hasn't been super great. It's been wishy-washy. So yeah, I mean, I'm still looking for opportunities here. If we do get a sell entry, maybe I could take a sell here, but I mean, with this low volatility, the ATR is currently at 20. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick to 30-30 TP stop loss for this week. Again, like I said, I'm changing it on a weekly basis. So if this ATR stays pretty low, then I might drop it down to 25-25. Maybe 2020. I think 2020 might be a little too tight, but if anything, I might drop it down to 25-25 next week if we stay at this lower volatility. But right now, I'm still going to stay at 30. So on a weekly basis, I'll adjust my TP stop loss. I'll adjust my contract size. But for this week, I'm currently at, I think I'm at 13 contracts for my 300K accounts, and then I'm doing a 30-30 TP stop loss. So I'm not making any changes right now. Sticking to where I'm at. Looking for my winning trade so I can break even for this week and then hopefully take some more wins to close out the week in profit. I'm still in profit for the week, but obviously I would like to have a bit more. Probably not gonna be able to request a payout this month, but it's all good. It's just how it is sometimes. Yeah, and that's like one thing too. So like I want to remind you guys as well, like you don't have to request a payout every single month, guys. There's gonna be some months that are slower and you just have to build up your profit or your cushion and make a withdrawal like the following month. If you put that pressure on yourself to make a payout every single month or every single 2 weeks, it's you're gonna be closer blowing your account than you are to doing any good. And I can see that from experience because I've dug myself into a hole trying to get a payout every 2 weeks. It's not worth it. So we have a possible sell signal right here. So, with the type of market that we're currently in right now, guys, I do expect there to be a trending market soon. Because typically what happens, like we've had a lot of news this week. I think this is really unusual that market hasn't moved. We had the tariff news with China over the weekend, the tariff news with the UK over the weekend. We have the agreement with Saudi Arabia. We have the oil agreement with Saudi. We have Trump making all these different negotiations and agreements with other countries. And we have FDA drug prices dropping. There's just a lot of stuff that's been happening over the past couple of days. And the crazy thing is that we haven't had any direction, right? Market's been going flat. So what I do expect is a possible trending move to happen probably by the end of the week, if not by next week. But I do expect the market to be trending at some point. So it's just a matter of time until that actually happens. So right now I'm really just, like I said, I'm weathering the storm and I'm kind of just staying conservative, preserving my capital. The last thing you want to do is blow your accounts, right? I've talked to someone about this yesterday. The last thing you want to do is blow your accounts taking dumb trades during this type of market where it's going sideways. And then next week the market's trending and then you have to start over an eval. I think that's the worst possible case that you can be in because I've seen people where they grow their accounts to to almost passing or they pass and they get funded and then a market like this happens and then they blow the account in like 1 week. And then the week after is a great week where we have all a crazy win streak, and then they have no account to make profit on because they have to go back to the eval. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm always going to be looking out for you guys and for your accounts. For me, I don't really have to because I have cushion, and then obviously I know what I'm doing. But for the people out there who are on the fence of things, this is a good time to like kind of sit back. Preserving your capital is probably going to be the most important thing. Yeah, exactly. Like Jarrell said, patience is a virtue. Exactly. That's really what it is. Trading is really about patience, guys. It's not about being able to how fast can you trade, how many entries you can get into, and how many wins you could lock in. It's really about patience and discipline. If you can stick to your trading plan and not make mistakes and screw up, I mean, you can do pretty well. So, all right, we have a possible MPS V2 setting up right here. The thing that I don't like is the ATR, guys. ATR is currently at 18, so it's extremely slow right now. I don't really see any confluences here either. I mean, there's a confluence right there on the 30. There's a couple confluences here. Rejection right there off the 42 300. Rejection off the resistance right there. So the sell over here does look good. The only thing that I can kind of say, guys, is I mean the ATR is just really low right now. So if you're looking to take this, Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on this. The volatility is just way too low, guys. I like the last thing I want to do is hold on to this position for more than like 10 minutes, like earlier. So again, I'll mark this up for you guys, but I'm not in the position here. Um, I mean, if you do want to take this, the ATR is extremely low, guys. It's a 17. So you might have to go for like a 15 point or even a 10 point TP in this situation. Because the thing is like the ATR is it's just way too low. Like going for a 30 here, this is going to take you a long time, guys, to reach this point. 15 could be doable, 10 even better. But yeah, I'm gonna take this off. Again, I don't want you guys to think I'm in these positions because I feel like if you guys see the markup on my chart, some of you guys just hop into a position without even thinking. You just think, oh, the markup's there, so Sean's probably in the position, but I'm actually not. Yeah, the candle didn't close solid either, Siobhan. The candle ended up closing like very choppy. Like if this thing closes a strong red candle, then I would have been a little more inclined to take it because I'm like, okay, if that happens, then price will push down to this lower range. But look what happened here. Price bounced directly off the range, right? So again, this is another example of like why I didn't take the trade up here, right? So I talked about why I didn't take the trade up here. Price was at the upper range. And then I was like, okay, if this is the case, I'm probably going to get stopped out here because price is going to fake out and come back down. This is the same thing that I just said earlier. Samir, bro, I'm reading all your messages and I don't know what are you even talking about. Samir said you remove the markup again, Sean. Does that mean we exit? I literally told you I'm not in the position. That's the whole reason I took it off. Like, I don't know why you keep getting in these positions, Samir. I'm telling you not to take it, and you're still taking the positions, bro. I mean, I don't know what you're doing, or I don't know, is there a language barrier between us? But it seems like you keep taking positions, and I keep saying that I'm not in the position, bro. Like, I don't know, Samir, what to tell you. Is Brock, are you still here, bro? This is your friend, Brock. Yeah, I'm not in that position. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading your messages over here, Samir, and literally I say between every position, I'm not in the position. And you're getting into the position when I immediately say I'm not in the position. Even for this one right here, I said there's a setup coming up here, and I gave so many warnings. I said for one, the ATR is low. I said if you want to take it, you might have to take it for something smaller, but I said the 30-30 is not going to work. And I said I don't like the price action, so I'm not going to enter the position. Like I almost warned you, like I gave you so many warnings that I wasn't taking the position. And then you said I'm in it with you. I was I'm not in it with you. I mean, you're in it by yourself, bro. Um, you got to listen, bro. Like I don't know how you thought I was in this position here because I gave so many warnings not to take it. Um, it's the same thing that happened over here. Like you took this position up here too, and I said I'm not going to take it because it's at the range. And I mean, sorry, bro. I don't know what else to say. I thought I made it as clear as possible that I wasn't getting in the position. My TP, so for one, my TP stop loss is at 30-30, and the ATR down here is at it was below was at 17. So that's like half my my TP stop loss for that trade. I mean, there's no way I would take that trade because the ATR is too low. And Kyle said that's my cue to hop out. Yeah, there's just nothing here to take. I mean, like for today, like I said, I'm being very conservative. I didn't take any trades today. I took one trade on Monday, which lost, but I'm still looking for entries here. There's just nothing here to take right now. Yeah, Steven said FOMO pandemic. Sean, help me, man. My FOMO fever is so high. I mean, you did good over the previous couple of days, Steven, with your gold trades. I mean, you're starting to understand it more. So the good thing with Steven here is he's really starting to understand the difference between taking trades based off the the analysis. I mean, your analysis is getting better, Steven. Let me see, because you messaged me all of your trades. Yeah, so you've been doing pretty decent, Steven. I mean, trading gold here. I mean, I'm glad you're finally listening, bro. Like you're actually taking these trades like how I'm telling you to take them. So Steven took a sell here for gold. He took the sell signal, basically a pivot scalping trade there. Um, and he's really like you're really starting to understand the ATR that I'm mentioning. So Steven did pretty good yesterday. I mean, it's small profits, but Steven's like he's just getting his understanding proper. But it looks like you've been on a win streak recently with gold. So I'm glad you're finally getting that down, Steven. Let's see. Samir said, I wish you could highlight only trades you deem fine. I mean, you got to listen, bro. You got to open your ears and listen to what I'm saying. Uh, like, if I was to just not analyze anything here, I don't know how, like, what's the point of this live session, right? I think you got to open your ears, Samir. You gotta listen, bro. Like, I don't know how much clearer I can be. Um, the whole point of having this live session is for me to analyze and explain when to take a trade and when not to take a trade. When I say not to take a trade, that doesn't mean, hey, Samir, take a trade. That means don't take a trade. Um, like if I'm taking something, I'll literally tell you, hey guys, I'm gonna take this if this closes a certain way or something like that. But I mean, you gotta learn to listen, Samir. I think that's your main problem. You got to learn to listen because it seems like you're not even like listening to anything I'm saying because I'm giving a full analysis here about the position. I'm about everything. Like for example, right here we have an MPS V2 setting up, and I'm breaking it down for you. I'm saying we have a sell signal here. We have a retracement right here on the screen candle. If this candle closes red, this is an MPS V2. But again, we're at this lower range, right, Samir? So I might have to just say your name out. Hey, Samir, where if this candle closes red, this is an MPS V2. But I don't think this should be taken because it's currently at the lower range. You take in as many trades that lose, and you should understand things. Like for example, you took a trade here that lost. You should understand, okay, don't take trades at the upper range or the lower range. Same with this one over here. Price was at the lower range, didn't close below it. Um, and you shouldn't take a trade at that point. This one over here is probably a little better. The only problem here, and again, I'm going to mention here, this is me talking to you directly, Samir. Look at the ATR, bro. It's 18. If I'm going for a 30-30, this is going to be almost impossible for me to catch. On top of that, and just because I put this markup here, Samir, this doesn't mean, hey, Samir, take a trade. This means, hey, Samir, listen and don't take a trade because I'm telling you why not to. ATR is too low. There's a red flag right here, which is a session. This means do not take a trade. I'm gonna like type it right here for you, bro. Samir, do not take this trade. Hopefully this will make sense to you because I'm trying to explain to you like when not to. And this isn't to me like I'm not trying to like point you out, but like I'm trying to tell you this is a trade not to take because of these specific reasons. We have a session down here. We have the ATR, which is kind of low. Um, if you're going for a TP stop loss of 30-30, this is probably not going to hit. If the people out there want to take it, you can take it for something smaller like a 20 because the ATR is at 18. So yeah, this here could probably still hit, but I think the 30 is going to be a little too far out. So again, I marked this up, guys, but I'm not in the position. And I'll type this up if this needs to be done. I mark this up, but not in the position because one, ATR too low, two, session, London session in the way. Red flags. Easy as that, right? Mark this up, but I'm not in the position because reasons right here. ATR is too low. It's at 18. London session is in the way right here. So this is the London low. And then we have obviously the red flags. So there, marked it up for you guys right there. Not in the position. Obviously, it's something that I would like to get into, but like I said, you got to be conservative in a type of market like this because you don't want to be stuck in a ranging position. But again, this here, if I was to rate this position like 1 out of 10, this would probably be like maybe a 6 because you're still trading within the range. So like I mentioned before, I'm okay with trading within the range here, but I don't want to trade at the end of the range. Like I don't want to trade when price is here because it's likely to bounce off it. And then same with like this up here. But I'm trying to help you guys out, right? Like I'm I'm giving my analysis like as thorough as possible so that you guys can understand when to take a trade and when not to take a trade. Because if I just never mark up trades, you'll never understand which trades not to take. Um, but yeah, again, guys, I haven't taken any trades today. Here are the markups for today. There was an MPSV2 that happened somewhere around here. There's an MPSV2 that's currently running right here. Breakout ran for this morning for full TP right there for a buy. Breakout's currently on a win streak right now. It's been winning from Monday to Wednesday. So past 3 days have been on a win streak. Yeah, CJ said maybe you should label the markups unofficial or official trades to help him out. See, the thing is, I say it out loud, so I figured like that would be quicker, right? It's quicker for me to say something out loud than for me to type it out. Because if I was to type it out, it might take forever. It might be too late. So there goes the MPSV2 that's currently running down. Nah, he's not Solange. That's Brock's homie. I'm always gonna throw it back to Brock, even though Brock doesn't know. Yeah, no, I'm messing with you, Brock. I'm messing with all you guys. It's you got to have fun with trading, guys. Sometimes trading gets boring. Sometimes Steven has to pop out of nowhere and throw out some jokes to kind of get us going in the morning. I'm never serious, guys. Like whenever I'm like, even if I sound like I'm annoyed, I'm really just like, I'm more so frustrated than annoyed. I'm frustrated because I want you guys to learn this stuff and I want you guys to understand, but I'm never really upset with anybody, to be honest. It takes a lot to get me upset. So, and there you go, full TP right there, guys. Like whenever I'm like kind of calling somebody out, just think of it as like education, right? I'm trying to be educational with it. I'm not necessarily trying to necessarily like put someone down. I'm just trying to tell someone like, okay, this is how you should understand. And I'm just frustrated because I want you to understand. I want you to not lose trades. But there you go, full TP on this MPSV2 right here. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Christian followed the trade there, but didn't take the trade. It's all good. Like I said, I think this is probably like the best this is probably the best setup that came up for today. The reason why I say that, and let's go ahead and just reanalyze this before I get off the live session. So the reason why I think this is a good setup, or it was the best setup for today, even though all the setups here were kind of crappy, this was a good one because we had a sell signal, retracement, confirmation. I think the best part about this is that it closed below the range. And then we are able to, if you took this trade, you're able to ride it to the next range, right? Which is down here. If this trade happened to be, like say, for example, down here at this lower range or at this lower range or at this upper range, I wouldn't take the trade there because it's kind of hit like a flat wall at that point. This is like a brick wall. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, it's 8 o'clock right now. I'm done trading for the day. Unfortunately, I didn't get into any trades today, but it's okay. I'm conserving my capital. I'm just waiting for those better setups to come. So hopefully tomorrow the better setups will come up and I'll just get into those trades. And then same with Friday. I'm just not in any trades for this for today, this session. I took one trade this week. I'm currently at one loss, which is not a big deal. It's like, I'm taking a decent amount of risk. And then right here, you can see price starting to dump. So we're starting to get some volatility here. I don't know if this volatility is going to hold. There might have been something that happened in the news. Let's see if there's any breaking news right now. Not really. I mean, there's just AMD news that happened over here. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, there's nothing else today, guys. So there's nothing that I really see here pushing price around. It's kind of just price is pushing down on its own. Nothing specific here. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we're kind of caught up in this choppy market, so we'll kind of we'll see. I just saw your message right there, Brock, with CJ said, Sean, it's funny to me because you're not being malicious, and although you're frustrated, you're still nice about it. I told you before you have a lot of patience, bro. Yeah, no, I mean that's the key, guys. I mean, so here's the thing with trading too, is like you guys should never be upset about like the trade you take. Yeah, maybe you should be frustrated, maybe you should be disappointed, but you should never really be upset or overly happy, right? You shouldn't be super excited and you shouldn't be super sad or mad. Because the thing is, trading is like there's going to be multiple opportunities and entries on the chart, right, for the day. So if you get too caught up with your emotions off of like one trade or two trades, it's going to screw up your trade psychology. So it's yeah, I just thought Longy's message right there. But yeah, no, exactly. You guys just gotta have fun with trading. I know trading sometimes can be serious, sometimes it could be emotional, sometimes it could be really stressful, but you just gotta have fun with it. Like for example, the trades today, like it's good to identify the trades, mark them up, not take them, but just take them, identify them and see if they play through. Because now that this is hit, this gives me confidence that okay, tomorrow if I see trades within a range, I'm okay with taking them at a range. I don't want to take them outside the range or at the edges, but I want to take them within the range. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, same place, same time tomorrow as we continue on with this trading week. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your